There is something about autumn that breeds nostalgia. It could be the smell of apples and berries over-ripening on the trees and bushes, the scent of corn harvested, the warm spice that enigmatically is on the cool and constant gentle breeze. In Northwestern Pennsylvania, you might have cause to think of fall fairs and festivals. Here there is the Cherry Festival, various Oktoberfests, and even, for me, the Albion Fair. Even though I grew up in the late 80s and early 90s, the Albion Fair was like a time warp to the 70s. The women, all with big hair teased up to highest heaven, and with deep eye makeup that in animation form would be reminiscent of rascally raccoons. There has been no trendy diet that has been a part of my life that has successfully equipped me to turn down a fair corn dog pulled fresh from the fire. Maybe the nostalgia comes from cooling weather that allows for the smoking of meats and the intense lust for soups made from fresh produce. If I'm being honest, however, I know that the bulk of this nostalgia, that admittedly can be a tidal wave that conquers respiration, probably comes from just how much I miss my college days. They were 15 years ago, and yet when I'm in this pensive, wistful mood, they seem like they were just yesterday, or even here, right now, in the present. My undergraduate time was at Mercyhurst University, and even since then, it was the only place that I ever truly felt at home. I was a successful musician there, a young writer, composer, and academician.
It comes as no surprise to any of us that the winner is Matthew Joseph Rendulic. He is described by Dr. Glinsky as one of those standout pupils in music composition who comes along once or twice in a decade. In fact, Dr. Glinsky's 14 years at Mercyhurst, he tells us he has rarely worked with such a prodigious musical talent. Matt is a brilliant young composer, yet ravenous for knowledge, accomplished yet modest, immersed in his art, yet always willing to jump into any project where he is needed. His original composition, Hymn to the Celestial Bodies, was performed last summer by the United States Armed Forces Symphony Orchestra before an audience that included, among others, President George W. Bush. He is a confident self-starter, yet always respectful of his professors and peers. Matt's music is described as a product of the whole person, his care and involvement in the community, his deep religious faith, his concern for his friends, and his insatiable curiosity. This fall, he will enter the Westminster College Choir of Princeton University to study for his master's degree in music, and then wants to continue in a doctoral program in music composition and eventually become a college professor. Worthy aspiration. Please come forward.
I fell in the deepest of young puppy love there a dozen times, and I believe that although I wasn't born again in the typical way, I found my own soteriological liberation from the oppressive religious upbringing that I had then, and was finally able to find God, whom in the Christian scriptures has rightfully been identified as love. Despite much of the church not choosing to worship God in such designation, I did what good old Nicodemus thought he was incapable of, and seemingly I was born again, intellectually, from a new mother. We hail our college alma mater, the Hearst that's built upon the hill. With love for all, she has brought us a tradition that we carry still. I try my damnedest to not get overtaken with melancholy when nostalgia boils up like that. Rather, I try to get the flame under control and know that every soup and sauce tells a story from the past with their ingredients, while nourishing the realness of right now. Autumn Prayer. Time is artificial, nevertheless we use it as ersatz to our awareness of now. Let us be moribund and budding concurrently. In our harvesting, may there be abundant growth. In our shedding, let only acrimonious malevolence fall from the sheath to be used to fertilize the paradoxical future yield of love's wonder.